as well. So with that, let's begin with first and say why learning AI and machine learning. I'm going to go a little bit fast initial part, and then I'll give it to our expert. She's going to talk about Varsha. She's going to come. She's Microsoft certified trainer and expert on that topic. So are we all ready? Put in the chat window and say ready. Fatima, yeah, please post your question. And okay, yeah, okay. Any practical hands-on experience? That's exactly what we're covering as well. Yes, exactly. Ready? Okay, brilliant. Okay, so as I said, is first is if you look at generative AI, it's 1.3 trillion market. It's a huge market, 1.3 trillion, and constantly growing. By 2032, it'll be growing exponentially as you see as well. And now within that, you see, if you look at the study done by the cloud provider, 43%, um, in specifically just in IT, the they someone with a generative AI knowledge get 47% higher salary. And whatever your domain might be, it might be finance, it might be business, it might be any domain. Minimum 40% higher in IT, slightly more 47% hiring salaries as you do as well. And by World Economic Forum states on the report in 2023, the machine learning specialist, AI, generative AI specialist, it's very difficult to find them. Again, find them, but with the right guys. And that's what your objective should be, to become the right guy as well. Now, similarly, but then you might be saying, oh, but why on cloud? Because these AI, generative AI, machine learning need a lot of compute, a lot of data, a lot of processing, a lot of number crunching, and a lot of easy to make build applications quickly. And cloud provides that as well. And now also for that same reason, cloud is growing exponentially as well, as you see, and it's a $1,000 billion industry by 2030. So it's growing, both cloud as well as AI machine learning as well. But then the question might be, why Microsoft Azure cloud? And if you know Microsoft, they've been for industry for quite known, but they're big leader in data. They have a huge data. And the biggest part is that OpenAI, if you know ChatGPT, that revolutionized the way we are talking about. ChatGPT is the company behind ChatGPT is OpenAI, and OpenAI is backed by Microsoft. OpenAI is $80 billion and more than 60% market share. The investment is done from Microsoft on this. And if you look at Microsoft, it's one of the fastest growing cloud, one of the among the top two cloud providers, and more than 95% Fortune 500 companies use Microsoft Azure cloud to build their applications, build AI, build machine learning, build generative AI, and later part we're going to see that as well. Am I making sense? Are you guys still with me? Put in the chat window and say, are you still with me? And say, are you still with me? Is it making sense, guys? Put in the chat window. Is it still making sense? Yes, great. Thank you. So now let's look at the job and salary. As I said, job is everywhere. Whatever the job you are playing, just put AI on top of it. If you're playing a consultant role, I want you to show me which one is it. Is it number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? And there are a few other roles like AI researcher, machine learning engineer, data scientist, AI machine learning specialist, customer support success. But what I'm keen on is which role you might be, or what role you're playing right now. Is it project manager? Is it product manager? Is it programmer? And you might be saying, hey, I just want a job. That's totally fine. But I need to know where are you doing, because whatever you're doing, you can add AI and machine learning into that, because that's what companies are looking and are hiring. Let me see. Generative AI developer, Mohammed, brilliant. 7. Mohammed is saying 7. Generative project manager. There are some project managers. 6 and 11. There's the education trainer. There's number 1, which is a developer. Education trainer, brilliant. There are a lot of opportunities. Finding any of that, you tell you have done something with AI, people will be more and much more higher. Account manager, technical account manager, cloud e-commerce, brilliant. So make sure you include your AI, because it's whatever you're doing, generative AI or AI normal in that. If you look at the job opportunities, 107,000 LinkedIn AI engineers required. 5,000 plus. This is another one in UK. This I'm talking about. This is again here in Canada. This is India. Whatever country you do, you will have some form of other AI requirement available. Same thing with that says good paying job in generative AI. Same thing with Canada, UK, Singapore, Australia, UAE, whatever country you are from, as I said, you'll have tons and tons of job opportunities, maybe India as well. Now, the bigger part was I was shocked when I saw that, and that was my intentions as well. 230,000, 36,000 average salary in US. How many will crave higher salaries 298,000. And when I go and speak to because we bring a lot of lot of experts who are already working into that domain to see how they've achieved it, they say it's nothing. It's much higher than they're earning a lot money. How many of you guys will crave for? Uh, how many of you guys are doing and getting? Gaurav, you can leave if you're not finding it. You buy. Please feel free to leave it and come back. Let others come because it's important as well. This is important because this is key. Please feel free to leave if you're not finding. Thank you very much. If you're going to talk about that as well, yes, Mark. You see, thank you. How many of you go for is this is the kind of a salary because I think you need to know and have a real desire for that as well. Thank you. So average salary is low 180 to average is 236 to 296 as well, and the same is on Canada. If you look at Canada, low is 120,000 and high is 187. This is a stats form, but if you're good you can earn a lot more than as well. If you look at the UK, on average 90,000 is a peak. There are higher, there are lower here now as well. So let me share my, how do I, you can let me stop sharing mine and you can take control, Varsha. Let me start my camera as well. So Varsha, is it all okay? Yeah, brilliant. I think let me
Am I
stop.
audible, Atul?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Yeah, and my screen is also visible, right?
Yes, and I think what is AI machine learning? It's just the font have gone up, but it's fine.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. So, hey guys, thanks for joining us today in this live webinar. As Atul already gave you the brief introduction of Azure AI. So let's, quickly start what exactly there is to learn. Okay. So as you all know, okay, from last 2 years, like from, I can say 2022, okay, until now, right, Gen AI is really the talk of the town. Okay, so with respect to Gen AI, we talk about always LLM, which is large language model, okay, or open source LLM. Okay, we talk about OpenAI. Okay, so OpenAI is really doing such an amazing job. Okay, Cloudy 3 also maybe you people have heard. Okay, also there is, competition with OpenAI, and Amazon is also supporting them. Okay, so all these are, the latest things which is going on. So you should know what exactly the Gen AI and how it is different from AI, ML, DL, and Gen AI. Okay, like what is the difference between all of these? Okay, you can put in the chat if you know this answer. Okay, so let me tell you the basic difference between AI, ML, DL, and Gen AI, because I have seen in the chat window so many of you have written that you are interested in AI and Gen AI, basically the open AI. Okay, so let's focus on these two first. Okay, so before starting this, let me tell you what is AI, ML, DL, and Gen AI. If you know the answer, you can write in the chat. Okay, if you don't know this, let's see what are all these terminologies. Okay, so let me consider if I have a universe. Okay, this box is nothing but a universe, let's say. Okay, and in that, I'm going to learn what is AI. Okay, artificial intelligence. So it's a very simple definition. Okay, when we build application that can perform its own task without human intervention. It can be any kind of task where human intervention is not required. Okay, like example, let me give you Netflix. So we all know it's a streaming application. Okay, and it provides you recommendation. You are not feeding any data to it, right? Without any human intervention, it is providing you the movie list, okay, the recommendation, right? The next example is like self-driving car. Okay, so this is all about AI. Now, why, as an AI engineer, suppose you want to become an AI engineer. So at last, what you want to do? You want to create an AI product, right? Okay, this is your goal, to create an AI product. So you are creating the AI product, and this product is seamlessly you want to integrate with any kind of web application. Okay, or mobile application, Android application, or edge devices. Okay, it can be anything. So you want to develop an AI product. So Netflix, as I have given you example, is a streaming app, and there are, we are integrating machine learning tasks so that we can, build scalable, what you can say, machines, right? So that's the reason we are doing it. So this is all about AI. Now the next comes ML, okay, which is the machine learning. Now in the machine learning, in the machine learning, it's a subset of AI. Okay. So machine learning is a subset of AI. And in the machine learning, what we learn about the statistical method. Okay. Or statistical tool, you can say. Okay, machine learning is just the statistics. Okay, machine learning, whenever you learn machine learning, you should be good in discrete mathematics, you should be good in metrics. Okay, so that's the reason we call it as it's a statistical tool to perform, statistical analysis or the visualization. And basically you people have heard so many times, right? We basically use it for prediction and forecasting. So here, for as a statistical tool, if we want machine learning to work, we should have the data with us, right? So it totally rely on the data. And that data, why do we want this data? Okay, what we will do with this data will be able to convey some information, okay, or will strengthen your decision making process. That's the reason this is important. Okay, so this is ML. Now comes the DL part. Okay, the third one is the DL. So now you have AI. Inside that, you have ML, which is a subset of AI. And then we have deep learning, which is a subset of machine learning, right? So the deep learning, okay, it's not new things. Okay, let me tell you one more thing. AI, we are talking, started talking from 1950. Okay, and then ML comes in 1990s. Okay, and deep learning comes into the picture, like people have started working on it starting from 2010. So it's not new. So what is DL? What is deep learning? Now deep learning is something where we mimic the human brain. Okay, we are going to mimic the human brain, and in the human brain, what we have neurons, right? So that's the reason we study here multi-layer neural network. Okay, so basically we focus on multi-layer neural network, although in machine learning we talk about ANN, okay, like a simple neural network. But here it's like a more complex network which we study in the deep learning to mimic the human brain. Okay, now in the DL also we have three things, okay, which is ANN. First one is ANN, which is artificial neural network, a simple neural network. Then comes CNN, convolution neural network, and then comes the last one, RNN, and its variants. Okay, so whenever you talk about the visual things, okay, the computer vision part, we apply the algorithms, CNN algorithms. Whenever you talk about text part, we apply the algorithms known as RNN. Now these all are old algorithms. Now people are talking about transformers. Okay, people are talking about BERT, right? So this is all the advanced version. Okay, and why I'm talking all these things here, because from here only the transformer things only given the birth to generative AI. Okay, so from here only we derive the next level, which is generative AI. That's the reason we talked about all these things, right? Now, let me tell you what is generative AI, and again, what is DL model. So whenever we talk about deep learning models, remember one thing: we always divide it into two parts. Okay, either it can be discriminative or it can be generative. Okay, let me tell you what is discriminative. So discriminative task is something where you perform the classification, you perform the prediction, okay, with the data set which is the labeled data, like a supervised machine learning, right? So you do that, and then you have a generative models. Okay, so in the generative AI we talk about the new content generation, totally new content generation. Okay, so where it fits generative AI, where it is going to fit. Okay, so we have AI, then we have ML, then we have Gen AI, and then sorry, DL, and then we have Gen AI, which is a subset of DL. Okay, so Azure AI. Okay, now where is the Azure AI? Right, so now we have Azure AI. Okay, which provides both of these model functionality. So in Azure AI, you will get all the discriminative tasks which you can perform, as well as they have added this generative also. Okay, so I hope now the difference, or like where it exactly lie. Okay, generative AI in this diagram. I hope you people got it.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much,
Can
and
you
brilliant
write
work.
it?
Yeah, no, I'll cover that and to wrap it up. So bigger umbrella,
Yeah.
as you see in the diagram, AI is the top level. Subset of that is machine learning. Subset that of is deep learning, and within a special case in deep learning is generative AI. That's the whole point. Maybe you can worth showing into the worth showing in the diagram as well. There are a lot of questions are coming out to pick one about is like, or maybe what you can do is, because of the time we want to cover as much as we can. So, and you can cover a lot of these questions towards end. Amir is saying how much coding do we need to skill to develop. Now again, Amir, a lot of these, as I said, a lot of companies are focusing on no code, low code, which means you pretty much, especially with generative AI, a lot of these things are no code, low code, and you can work without a lot of time without coding as well. That's the whole point of our objective is, if you know coding, that will be helpful. If you can build and integrate and develop your own applications. Otherwise, you can leverage in another way, which I'll be talking about, Amir, as well. Over to you. Over to you, Varsha. Over to you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is all about the basic of AI, ML, DL, and generative AI. Before starting, your AI journey or any of the cloud, this is the basic thing which you should know. Okay, and then after learning this basic, you start your cloud journey. And let me share my screen, PPT. Just a second.
Okay, while you're changing the screen, Sri Prasad is saying how much Azure knowledge we need to know to learn AI on Azure. So I think Sri Prasad, if you have a basic knowledge, that would also do. And in fact, I'm going to talk about towards end is what all things you should be knowing. We're going to if let's say as I said at the start, we if you're going to go deeper and work with us, we'll tell you about that's all covered. But as long as you have a basic idea about what is subscription, what is account, and basic things, you should be able to pick up very, very quickly, Sri Prasad. You don't need to be a guru, and very basic of Azure knowledge should be fine. Thanks, Tawfiq. Over to you, Varsha.
Yeah. So now we have learned what is AI, ML, DL, and Gen AI. Okay. So this is like, bookish language. So let's not concentrate on this. You people can read it. Okay. Online, you will get all these material. Now, the next thing here is the Azure AI service, right? So Azure AI service, what exactly is Azure AI service? We are going to learn here. Okay. And what, in the different courses, what exactly it is going to offer you. So we'll see this one by one. Okay, so Azure AI service, whenever I say Azure AI service, is it basically, help the developers and organizations to quickly build smart, modern, and ready to use applications. Okay, so they offer ready made and customizable tools and models to make this easy. So no need to worry that, okay, I do not have coding background. Okay, so no need to worry about it. If you can read the Python code, okay, I'm not telling about, okay, you should know the entire thing, but basic minimum thing is you should be able to read the Python code. Okay, like what exactly the Python code is doing or C# is doing, then you are ready to go with Azure AI services. Okay, so it's a very low code, or as Atul mentioned, it's a no code. Okay, services, just the drag and drop. You need to understand the concept, what is the input, what output you are expecting, and then you can pick the service. So I'll just tell you, okay, which service you can pick, okay, according into your problem statement or whatever be the input you have. Okay, so we will see that. Now here, Azure AI service. So whenever I say Azure AI service and DL, deep learning also I told you, right? We mimic the human brain. Okay. So Azure AI service, when they have, started this in the mind, like want to build human capabilities. Okay, just remember this one line and then you can relate each and everything, whatever is there in this Azure AI service umbrella. Okay, so Azure AI service offer like human-like capabilities. And when I say human-like capabilities, it's something like the first thing which we have, okay, our eyes. Okay, our eyes, like we have our visual perception. Okay, and then the second thing which we have is something is like we can speak. Okay, we can read, right? So it's like something like a speech, and I can write like a language. Okay, and we can contribute to decision making also. Okay, so all these are like the human like capabilities. Now Azure AI services has provided like the services for all these, the individual services, independent services, to implement all these human like capabilities. So the first thing here which we have is the language service. Okay, so just remember one thing: Azure AI services are the cloud based service that going to encapsulate AI capabilities or AI human capabilities rather than a single product. Okay, you should think of Azure AI service as a set of individual services that you can use as building blocks to compose, sophisticated, or you can say intelligent applications. Okay, so Azure AI services is going to offer you wide range of pre-built what you can say services. Okay, or you can just pick, okay, whatever you want. Right now, what is a language? Okay, so whenever I say a language service, the first service, okay, is the language service. So before language service, I hope you people know about natural language processing. Okay, so in the natural language processing, we talk about, again, it's a branch of AI only. Okay, natural language processing is a branch of AI that basically deals with the interaction between computer and the human language. Okay, so basically, it is going to enable machines to understand, interpret, and generate human language, right? So NLP. So we are going to explore the NLP component in this language service here. So the language service provides you the NLP feature that you can understand and analyze the text. Okay, so whenever you talk about the text, okay, you can use the language service. Okay, it can be handwritten text or it can be printed text. It can be any kind of text. Now, in the text analysis, you can understand and process text by providing features like you can do sentiment analysis, like the positive, negative, or the neutral sentiment. You can extract the key phrases. You can detect the language, okay, or you can perform the PII detection. All these things you can do here. And then comes the question and answering. So in the question and answering service, it basically helps you to create, question answer system where you can build a chat bot. And let me tell you, they have removed this service, Azure bot. Okay, so Azure bot is not there now. Okay, instead of that, what we have here, the question answering. Okay, so question answering service is help you to create a question answer system. Okay, like a chatbot or the support tool. Then we have language understanding. Okay, so you can build an application that can understand and interpret the human language. Okay, what is the intent behind it? Okay, so the intention you will get here in the language understanding. Then comes the translation, where you can translate the text between different languages. Then comes the second service, which is the speech. Okay, so speech recognition service is basically where you convert the spoken words into text, and then text to spoken word, the synthesis part. Then comes the translation part. Okay, translation, you will just convert it into one language to other language. Okay, and then comes the recognition. Okay, you can recognize the person who is speaking based on their voice. Okay, this is also there, so you can decide like what kind of language or speech you are using, and you can choose the service. Then comes the vision part, like the visual perception. So we human have that we have biological eyes, right? But computer is not having that biological eyes, right? So how computer is going to process the image, right? So maybe you people have heard in digital image processing how the image is made of pixels, and then we work upon those pixels, right? So the similar way here, they have already created, used so many algorithms using DL, like they have merged so many algorithms, and they have given you this computer vision studio, okay, or computer vision service. So it will make easy to extract the useful information which is present in the visual content. So that visual content can be a kind of an image or a kind of a video. So you can perform the image and video analysis. Okay, like you can recognize the objects, you can describe the scene, you can detect the faces, you can read the text. There are so many things, okay, which you can do. Then comes image classification and object detection. So image classification basically sort the images into categories based on their content, okay, which category it belongs to. Then comes object detection, okay, that finds and identifies the specific location. Okay, so in the classification, I just want to categorize the object. Here I'm going to provide the location as well along with the classification. So this is the basic difference between these two. Okay, and then comes the optical character recognition, OCR. Okay, so you can extract the text from the image and the document using this facility. Okay, and the first the last thing here which we have is the generative AI. So you can generate the text completion and image generation. So we will talk about this in detail in the upcoming slide. So I'm not focusing here now on the generative AI part. Now, Azure AI services, there are total 6 modules. Okay, if you are opting this course, there are total 6 modules which you need to learn. Okay, so I have mentioned here. See here, the first one is the language, second one is the vision, okay, and the third one is the open AI, means the generative AI. Then comes the Azure AI search. Okay, it's like a knowledge mining part. And then the fifth one is the document intelligence, like a form recognizer. Okay, so previously we used to call this service as a form recognizer. Now they have changed this to Azure AI document intelligence. So all these things are there as an Azure AI service. So Azure AI portfolio, you can see Azure AI service.
Sorry to Varsha, can you go back onto the previous one before we jump on to?
Yes.
Guys, is it making sense? Because I always tend to, because I want to bring everyone. Can you go back to the previous or the diagram? Okay, is it all making sense? So like basically language, speech, vision. Generative is the part that a lot of guys that came here initially for as well. Is it all making sense, or is it going over the board, or is it too much? And any questions come. Okay, so that's good, Tina. You should be again. Promise we made was you're going to ask questions. You're not asking question, so ask question, please, Tina. Don't worry about it. Okay, don't wait for someone to ask. My team have already answered the question. Okay, yes, it's good. Thank you. Yes, it's okay, making sense. This is the process. Yes, Preston. So we're going to learn again. Some things might be going over the head. That's totally fine. That happens when you look. But this is the thing that you need to be learning. Fatima, thank you very much. Thanks for understanding. Thank you for clarity. Brilliant work, Varsha. Let's carry on. Over to you.
Yeah. So here, what we have is the Azure AI portfolio. Okay. So as an Azure AI engineer, if you want to learn from scratch, what all the things you can learn, you can see in this diagram. Okay. So let me tell you one by one, what are all the things which we have here. Okay. So this part I have already covered in the Azure AI services. We have computer vision, like a visual part, okay? Then the natural language processing, language and speech, and the conversational AI. Obviously, it is coming under NLP as a module where you talk about question answer and Azure bot service. So they have removed this service, okay? So no need to worry. Instead of that, we are just using Q&A maker, okay? So all these things we cover in Azure AI 102. Okay, so if you are planning to write this exam, you need to cover all things for Azure AI 102. Now comes two different parts, which is machine learning and anomaly detection. Okay, so let me tell you. So whenever you detect unusual patterns or outliers in your data, you can call it as, okay, it's an anomaly detection which you are doing. So it helps you to spot unexpected changes or behavior, right? And which can be useful for detecting issue. And you can use here knowledge mining as well. Okay, the search also which you can apply here. Okay, and service also you can use. Okay, and then comes, this is something where which you will learn in DP 100, okay, which is the data scientist course. Okay, data scientist, associate data scientist course. Okay, so you learn about machine learning here. Okay, so machine learning is a service that helps you to build, train, and deploy machine learning models. So here we talk more about machine learning part. Okay, and here we talk about what kind of input data you have, which kind of service you are going to use, what kind of output you are going to get. Okay, so we'll do this here. But here in this case, when we talk about machine learning, we talk about, you are going to build, train, and deploy your machine learning model. So you will get more control on it. Okay, when you are doing this, you are having less control on it. Okay, because people have already coded, people have already done everything on behalf of you. You are just choosing the service and applying it. Okay, so then in this, what we have automated machine learning. So automated machine learning, basically Azure simplifies the process, of building machine learning models. It automatically selects the best algorithms and setting for your data, train the model. See, if you don't know anything about ML, you can go with this. Okay, so the Azure will do it on your behalf. Okay, and it can evaluate the performance also. It can tune the performance. Okay, so it do everything on your behalf. Then comes Azure Machine Learning Designer. Okay, so it's like a drag and drop tool. Okay, that lets you build and train machine learning model visually. So all the visualization will come under this machine learning designer. Then comes data compute and management. So in the data management, how you are going to organize, store, and prepare your data set. As when I have started this session, I told you ML is the statistical tool, right? So a statistical tool. When I'm saying it is a statistical tool, it basically relies on the data. So data is very, very important for ML. Okay, so we do not have time to discuss all these things. I'm just skipping it. Okay, so it's a very interesting topic. Why it is depending on data and how data is gold. Okay, so data is a gold nowadays. Okay, or the fuel. We always say that, right? So now we have the pipeline. Okay, the last thing is the pipeline. Okay, so in the pipeline, in the Azure machine learning pipeline, it's a way to automate, or streamline your machine learning workflow. Okay, so they help you to organize and execute a series of steps like a data preparation, model training, okay, and like the deployment, everything you will get in the pipeline. I hope it is clear up till this.
No, I think that
slide,
makes sense as well. Like if you can go back to the previous slide, yeah, I think this is perfect sense. And I want to take this opportunity because we have a lot to cover. I was thinking maybe I've overdone it. So I was thinking is let's focus on AI part because a lot of guys were doing AI. And let's park the machine learning part. What do you think, guys? Do you want to focus on AI and go a little bit more, or go on AI and machine learning as well? Put the chat window, say AI or machine learning or both. ML, type AI if you have to focus on AI. If you have to go on ML, type ML. If you have to go for both AI ML, then I'll go because I wanted to do some generative AI as well. Okay, both. Okay, so sorry guys. I might have to do for both. I would love to do that. And how about we bring her back and we'll do it both. I would to focus on generative AI. Okay, so there's a lot of demand for both. Okay, I hear you out. So what I will do is I'll cover a high level to begin with. And as I said, I want to go a little bit deeper. And I think her teaching is brilliant. And so I thought I could squeeze, and she was telling me, no, keep them separate. And I've mixed. So what I'll do is let's focus on AI, generative AI. I'll give a very brief overview. The way I go very fast, I'll cover machine learning, and I'm going to bring her back on machine learning in future if I see enough demand, enough feedback, enough good reviews. How would we do that? Because as I said, is other things I want to cover, especially the two parts as well. Yes, absolutely, we'll do that. Okay, yes, she is good, Raghav. Thank you very much. Thanks, Tina, generative AI. Okay. Yes. Okay. Let's continue with on what you're doing. Maybe focus on generative AI, and leave the machine learning part to me, and I'll cover that part, and then we'll go deeper into later part. Okay. Over to you. Yeah.
Yes. So let me cover AI 102 and generative AI for now.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah. Now here, let's say if you want to learn AI 102. Okay. Let me tell you. People are interested in the certification. Okay, AI 102. So before AI 102, if you are very new to Azure AI, Okay, if you are very new to Azure AI, you can pick this course, which is AI 900. Okay, so it's a beginner level course, and certification is also there here. Okay, so either you can choose this, which is the beginner level course, or you can choose this, which is the advanced or the associate level course. Now, let me tell you what is the difference, what you are going to learn here. Now, in whenever we talk about this AI 900, okay, AI 900 will cover all the things, okay, like Azure AI services. Whatever we have discussed, it is going to cover all the things, okay, but not in detail, no customization, nothing you will learn, okay, like just the beginner level course which you will learn here. Is this clear? Like just the basic part. But when you talk about AI 102, right? AI 102 is the associate level course. Then what's the difference? So when we talk about AI 102 associate level course, then I'm going to check each and everything in detail. Okay, so AI 900, it's just the basic where it will tell you, just get the familiarity with Azure AI, okay, how it looks like, everything. Okay, so you will get here. But when you consider AI 102 learning path, okay, so it's like at the professional level, okay, who want to deepen their knowledge, okay.
Okay, let me sorry, Versa, sorry to let me explain it in simple terms. Okay, a lot of guys know relationship and dating. So let's suppose, please. Okay, so when you first time go and meet a girl and say hi, hello, that's AI 9. That's it pretty much. And you said, okay, you just say hi, hello, name, and ask. That's pretty much. And you go but once you fix a date, you sit down, you go and understand deeper with a girl or a boy, and that's when you can have a better connection. You go deeper, and that's a person much better. That's what is AI 102 in my definition. And if you really want to go for a job, if you just want to know something and not bothered about job or anything, or maybe go next level, then go for AI 900. But I think if you really want a real benefit, real result, a real progress, real growth, then I think you should go for AI 102. And when you do AI 102, AI 900 becomes very simple. Automatically, 100% confident you'll be able to clear the AI 900. The challenge what people do is they spend lots of time. In fact, I've seen months and months people spending on AI 900. Whereas you should not be spending more than a day max or 2 days. You should be able to clear AI 900. But because they spend a lot of time and waste and start realizing it's difficult. So always go for AI 102. And when you do AI 102, when you're doing hands-on lab, AI 900 becomes super duper easy, and within probably a day or so max, you should be able to clear the AI 900 as well. That's pretty much. Thanks, Preston. Thank you very much. Okay, over to you. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Raghav.
Thanks, Atul. To make it very clear by giving very simple example. Okay, so just saying hi to the girl, you can just ask her name and get the more than introduction, right? So we can begin with AI 102, right? So automatically you will cover this AI 900, right? Now, this is just the learning path. As I already told you, I'm not again going to tell all these things. Total modules are 6. Okay, and all are depending on the human-like capabilities. That's it. You just need to remember that. Okay, so total module which the AI 102 is having is 6, right? Now Azure Gen AI. What is Gen AI? So this is again generative AI tool. Okay, we use on daily basis. Okay, very popular tool is ChatGPT. We all know this tool. Okay, it's having the potential to change how a range of jobs across multiple industries are performed. Okay, while the full scope of the impact and the potential risk are still unknown. Okay, so always we have to see before I start always this Gen AI with the responsible AI. Okay, so you have to.
In fact, there are a lot of there are a lot of jobs on responsible AI. There is a ethics committees who are part of, and people expect you to be there are a lot of job opportunities just in being a part of responsible AI. Someone who's looking after in the companies, are you managing and implementing responsible AI or AI's responsibility? And every project has to go through them. They need to approve how you're managing, how you're doing. A lot of things. Over to you, Varsha. Sorry, I get very excited and I get pumped up on these topics. I'm sorry for interrupting these, and I'll try to stay shut. Over to you.
No.
The only thing is about time. So I want to cover is move a little bit quicker, but that's totally fine. I think you're going fine. It's okay. Over to you.
Yeah. Yeah, then we have, let's say what is generative AI, from where it is coming from. Okay. So the basic thing, generative AI model, which we have learned somewhere, it's the subset of DL. Okay. So we have deep learning, and inside that we have generative AI. So generative AI models, okay, are the subset of deep learning models that can produce totally, entirely new content. Okay, the classical machine learning algorithms or the classical AI, we always train our model on the labeled data. Okay, like supervised algorithm, like unsupervised algorithm, we talk about reinforcement. Okay, so we talk about all these things in the classical way. Now we have this generative AI which can produce the new content based on what is provided, okay, or whatever you have described in the input. Okay, this is the one thing which you should know. This is the one thing. Okay, the second thing here in this diagram is the open AI. Everyone is writing in the chat, okay, I want to learn open AI. So what is open AI? So open AI is a company. Okay, so it's not a model, it's not a tool, it's not a technique. Okay, open AI is the company name. Okay, founded in 2015. Okay, and focused on AI research and development. Okay, so it's for AI research and development. The open AI models, you can say it's a collection of generative AI models that can produce language, that can produce image, that can produce code. And language, image, code, all are new content. Okay, so it's something related to this basic terminology, which is the new one. So Microsoft, now from where this OpenAI, Azure OpenAI, now we talk about Azure OpenAI. Okay, this is only the service which you can see in the portal, right? Which is Azure OpenAI. So from where it is coming? So Microsoft has partnered with OpenAI to deliver on three main goals. Okay, there were three main goals why they have partnered it. First one is to utilize the Azure infrastructure. Okay, including security, okay, including regional availability to help user build, enterprise grade AI applications. And then comes the second goal, which is like deploy. First one is Azure infrastructure. Okay, second one is you're just utilizing it. Then how you are going to deploy OpenAI, right? You need to deploy AI model. Okay, so you need to use the capabilities of the Microsoft product, including beyond Azure AI products as well, right? And the third goal was to use the Azure to power up all the OpenAI workloads. Okay, so these are the main goals why these two companies have partnered, and then we are calling it as together as Azure Open AI. Okay, so Azure Open AI is a new cognitive service or the Azure AI service. Okay, again, it is going to provide you REST interface and SDK also. Okay, so REST and SDK, you will learn in the class when you learn the coding, right? Okay, so I'm not covering all these API for now. Okay, so it's like API access to your OpenAI powerful language model, whatever you are going to build. Okay, so there are three foundation model or AI model here. Okay, to generate the natural language, to generate an image, and to generate a code. Okay, so we'll see this thing. Before that, let me tell you this. What is this written here? At the right hand side. So vision, speech, language, this is an open AI service. All these are the Azure AI services. That's it. Okay. So we have already covered it. Now, generative AI foundational models offered by OpenAI. So I already told you this thing. I'll tell you one interesting part here. Okay. So OpenAI, as I already told you, it's a company, okay, founded in 2015 who is working on Azure AI. Okay, sorry, AI research and development. So OpenAI in 2018, it has written a paper, okay, on GPT. Okay, GPT, Chat GPT. Okay, so I'm not talking about Chat GPT now. I'm just talking about GPT. So GPT stands for Generative Pre-Training. Okay, so which introduces the concept of GPT. Okay, in 2018 for the very first time. Okay, so how a generative language model can acquire knowledge and process dependencies. Okay, using unsupervised learning. Everything has written in this paper. And now in 2019, what they have done, they have written another paper. Okay, and they have released GPT-2 version. Okay, so OpenAI only has done it. Okay, in 2020, okay, they have released GPT-3. So this GPT-3 is an extension of GPT-2. Okay, and the main difference between these two, okay, is the number of parameters used in the model. Okay, so GPT-2 has been trained on 1.5 billion parameters. Okay, so these many parameters they have used. That's the reason, it is generating the new content. Whatever you are asking, it is able to do. And GPT-3, okay, 175 billion parameters. Okay, so this is the basic difference. In 2022, we got ChatGPT. Okay, so it's a tool that uses GPT models again. Okay, so GPT from where it is coming? It is coming from 2018, given by OpenAI. In 2022, OpenAI releases this Chat GPT. Okay, and now I'm not going into depth here. And then in 2023, we have this GPT-4. Again, this GPT-4 is the paid subscription which allow the user to access GPT-4 tool, right? So again, it's all about the parameters. Okay, so here it has used 100 trillion parameters. Okay, so this is the difference between all these things. So today, one of the most well-known example of generative AI is GPT-3, and Azure also use it.
Okay, and just to let you know, just to add to that point, when we go into generative AI program, which we'll be talking and start, and let's focus on that. And because we have a lot to cover, and let's move quickly on this part, is about that's how to use these models. So there are foundation models. GPT is built using ChatGPT is using that one of those models. So how do you leverage these models? DALL-E, a lot of other models, foundation models. What exactly is a foundation model? What is LLMs? What is LangChain? What is these things? These are things we are going to go deeper into. I'm just giving a high-level overview. Also, as she mentioned, this OpenAI has a 60% stake by Microsoft, so they have a big collaboration, and they're leveraging some of those services or that relationship. Let's move on quickly on to that point. As I said, we are running short on time. Over to you.
Yeah. So next is Codex. Okay, so in the Codex, it's like the model that.
No, can we move on to the next one? Sorry, can we move on to the next slide, because as I said, we'll move on because this is I want to show them, just give a glimpse of, and let's move on, please. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So I'll just show them like how it looks like.
Okay, so guys, how many of you guys have shown? How many of you guys have seen the Azure portal, or this is the first time? Just put in the Azure portal new. This is Azure portal. Okay, this is what you see is a Azure Open Studio, which is one of those studios from a portal new. Okay, so let's go on all these views. Okay, some of you guys are new, so go back to, can you go to the first screen, and you'll be learning how to go and learn. So if you go, so this is a whole Azure portal look like. So this is where you'll be building all the networks, every related services, and within that there is a service called Open AI service, or Azure AI service, which you see here. This one, Azure AI. There's something called as we create and deploy services, and these are all AI services. Again, I'm just giving a high level, but this is what you're going to learning and doing. Within that, there is something called as Open AI Studio. That's what it is. So once you create an Open AI service, how to do it, you'll be learning all this in detail, step by step. These are things you should be learning. Then you go and open Open AI Studio. Because of the time, we've already created one service and we opened it. You can do as well. In fact, if you see here now the screenshot, there are two of them already there being done. Okay, and now within that we've opened it. This is called a studio, and this is where you'll be playing a lot of those things which we were discussing. So earlier we were doing theory, now it's practical. This is where you go and look at left hand side, you see chat playground. There's a completion playground. We'll because of the time I'm not going to cover all of them, but you have a DALL-E, which is an image, and that can build images for you, and then you can bring
you can say anything, Atul, and I can write here. So
okay, let's see. Let someone asking. Put the chat window. What do you want to create? Maybe I'm scared of this. Someone, what do you want? What kind of image you want? So my daughter loves cat. So maybe build something on about cat. My daughter loves cat. Something crocodile. Oh, okay. Scary. Rose. So okay, just whatever it comes to your mind. Fatima is saying rose. Let's prepare a rose. Let's give her a rose.
You can give something unique. See, roses you can find in Google also. So just give something unique.
Maybe blue roses on, or maybe
blue roses also you can find, Atul. Something like your imagination.
So I'll give you an example. Typical use cases. How do we cover as because I'm a company, I'm a marketing company, and I'm a shoe company, and I want to present I'm building a shoe line, and I want to present a shoe presenting in front of maybe London Bridge. So shoe in front of London, presenting in front of London Bridge. So this is one of the use cases. So you are a developer, and these are a lot
Shoe.
of such SHOE
SHOE.
in front of London Bridge. Yeah, shoe SHOE shoe. Yeah, shoe as a marketing material in front of a London Bridge, basically. Just quickly, yeah. So these are, let's suppose, so these are some of the use cases. I'm in a marketing team. I want to build some images. How do I do? So you're working in a team, and how you leverage these examples. This is maybe not be good. We're just saying it's generating images now on the fly as well. Um, correct, Tina.
And one more thing I want to add here.
Yeah.
This is not taking from anywhere from the Google. Okay, so
Correct.
there is
It's-
no copyright issue here. There's
Right,
no
so-
copyright issue.
Absolutely. And now I can even change it and say, look, now it's a, so now let's suppose I can build, I have a shoe, which is, I can change the design. I can say, put a logo or do, and it'll build it for you. I can use that in
Yes,
your marketing material as well. Okay. So I hope this is just a very simple example like that. You'll be working lots and lots of use cases like real industries, and and that's what you will be writing and say, these are the things which have leveraged or used my generative AI and playing with that. Because of the time, as I said, I'm going to fast forward and moving is so Tina is saying, is Azure AI Studio behind a subscription wall? Absolutely. Everything is behind a subscription wall, but they give you a free account. And most of these labs you're performing, they are a couple of cents. So it's like image probably very small, and maybe under $1 or $2, under $1, most of the labs you should be able to perform, unless go very advanced machine learning, very deep learning, that too is under $1 or $2 as well. It's totally worth spending time because you would turn lots and lots of money as well. Yeah. So exactly. Thanks everyone. Okay, let's move on. Let's go back. As I said, is come back. I'm going to pick it now here from here because as I said, I have a lot to cover. I want you to just talk about generative AI if you can cover just about generative AI if you can cover. That will be helpful on the presentation slide. Or do you want me to cover that?
Yeah. Please cover it.
Okay, so if you have, there are a lot of questions.
It's already done. I have done my part. You can cover it. Yeah.
Okay, so let me share my screen, and then I say is yes. But I want you to do is where's my screen? Share my screen. Yeah. Okay. So what I want to do is based on, I know we were in a rush, but if you're between here, if you have to rate between, I'm going to cover that generative AI as well, and I'm going to cover this. I'll do a quick recap as well. But for Varsha, and I'm going to ask you to rate mine, and please give me more than her. No, I'm just kidding. Between 1 to 5, you have to rate Varsha. What things you have, and if you're giving below 5, and you can give more than 5 as well. Rate her between 1 to 5 so far, what you've learned from her. And if you can give more, and if you're giving less than 5, I would love if you can tell me what we could have done to make it 5-star experience. 5, 10 billion, 10 out of 10, Tefik. Thank you very much. 5, 10, 5, 5. And you could be generous as well. Divya could have given more than 5 as well. I've just given time she had. Yes, absolutely, Tina. As I said, is I'm to cover as well, and I'll say, so whatever questions are coming, she'll be answering behind the scene now. So if you can answer, as I said, we have got tons and tons of questions. I'll cover, my team will be answering them as well. Okay, and if you don't get the answer, don't worry. I'm going to pick up these questions. Maybe over the email, you'll be getting those as well. So let me see. This is again a studio, which I was talking about. This is, you will be building. You can go and create yourself. And in fact, I want you to do for yourself as well. In fact, an email which I'm going to send after this video, like a session, in that I'm going to give you a step-by-step instruction, a video which I've done in the past. You can create a free account and you can play with that, and you can build this as well, absolutely free. How to do this open studio as well. So this is overall Microsoft Azure Studio. Bottom you see a machine learning platform. Above that you have customizable models. What is model? Again, we would go deeper later, but you have one OpenAI service, and then you have a scenario-based services. You'll be actually building and leveraging all of those as well. And on top of that, those who are working, there are a lot of other services are like Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate. You don't need to worry all of them. We're going to focus on the bottom part as well. Okay. If you look at generative AI, how do you develop? Again, this is develop generative AI, which is OpenAI services. You have to know, and you perform all these hands-on labs, creating a free account, creating your like OpenAI resource, and do it via command line through GUI as well, and play with this open studio, play with these models. Then how do you deploy the models? How do you apply there's something called as prompt engineering, which prompt is where you asking questions and getting in answers. And then also not just basic prompt, but more advanced prompts, and applying some parameters, like there's something called as temperatures. There's something called as top probability, top K, you might have heard of. If not, we're going to cover and explain you. There's more examples like few shot learning. There's a chain of thoughts. These are more advanced level of prompt engineering that you should be doing. Then you go for how to generate code. She was asking, mentioning about Codex as well. Am I going fast? And let me know. Yes, I'm going fast knowingly, because as I said is I'm going to cover something so that you can understand. You can then take a call and you can decide as well. Okay. So we'll okay. So then you cover the code. Then you cover or learn how to generate images. What we have covered is very basic, but you need to go much more implementing Delhi model. And if you have your own model, we're also going to tell you how to basically import or deploy the other models. This is just what comes out of the box, but you can deploy your own models as well. And then you go for something called RAG, retrieval augment generation, because you have your own data. A lot of use cases come, and we have started using for our own company, and we're implementing for others companies. Generic is fine, but you need to know your custom based on your data. It can start leveraging that. So how do you do that as well? Also, as she was already talking about responsible AI, it's very important. And within responsible AI, you to do hands-on labs in terms of how do you identify the harms possible, how do you document them, you test and verify them, because not every alert is a wrong alert. Not every thing is not harmful. So how do you do them? There are mitigation. How do you mitigate that potential harm? And there are different layers: model layer, safety system layer, there's a prompt layer, meta prompt layer, or guarding layer, and then we have a user experience layer. You to protect your customers from all of these. And these are the kind of things you should be learning. Now, Microsoft doesn't cover, don't ask for the LangChain, but what we realize is LangChain is thinking of multiple models, putting them intermingled or connecting them through a chain, LangChain. This is a framework or model which you'll be learning, or set of libraries you'll be learning. This is not as per Microsoft Azure, but we have added it because in jobs, in companies, in implementations, companies, people expect you to know those things. So we've added a bonus module about LangChain as well. Okay. So this is again about AI, everything about AI, generative AI as well. And I'm going to go in short and sweet about, because I think we're running a lot short on time. Yes, absolutely. That's one part, Mohammed, but there are more on Drax, is just a lot more than this. Okay. So am I making sense? Put your chat window. Yes. Type a yes on the chat window on ML. Or do you want to keep it and cover ML or skip the ML? Let me know. Cover or skip ML? Cover. Okay, Naveen, cover. Okay, guys. Okay. I need a 5-star rating. Okay, guys. I'm going to go high level. Cover everything. Abhishek. Okay. I need a coffee or tea or drink from you guys, those who are saying cover. Okay. Thank you. Okay, let's keep it coming. Again, as I said, I'm going to go high level, go fast, but then can have, if you need more machine learning services. So on typically what you do, you have a data that's coming, and data is being used to train the model. And then when you train, you validate. You keep training and you validating and test. This is a cycle that runs. You train, you validate, you evaluate, and it's happening in circles. And finally, once you're happy with enough data, it's ready to deploy as well. And that's what is you do. It's right or wrong and happening correctly. And once you're happy with, based on tons and tons of amount data. That's why I said data is a key player. Data is big and data is important. Why we also telling you, and I'll give you, if you don't know the data, how you can learn, I'm going to give you everything that you need is covered. So that's why this data as well. So this is a typical workflow. You prepare your data, then you write your, using integrated development environment, you write or build your own models. Now, this is, I'm going, as I said, more deeper. You're building your own models, you're training and testing the models. Then you're registering the model on deploy. There's something called as containers and Kubernetes. You're deploying them and deploying as a web service so you can start leveraging. Now, you might be wondering, what is containers, Kubernetes? How do you register that? How do I train that? Everything will be taught and explained to you. No, you don't need to worry about. You don't need to guess anything. Everything is step-by-step manner. Now, the way you do OpenAI Studio earlier, something similar to that, you have a workspace, which is called as machine learning workspace. In that, you have a compute, which is nothing but your CPU and memory. Notebooks to write your code if you have. Building pipelines, I'll explain you what is pipeline. You have data coming, you have experiments, you have models, everything into inside a workspace. And then you will need other additional services like storage to store the data. You need insights to monitoring. You need keywords for security. You need virtual machines or maybe containers or Kubernetes to deploy and run these applications. And everything bundled inside is a resource group. Everything bundled inside is a resource group, and that resource group is paid through something called a subscription. And then everything in that is inside the Microsoft Azure cloud. Is it all making sense? Oh, lost me. Okay, Suresh, am I still, you guys are still with me? Am I making sense? Thank you, Arnold. Thank you. Thank you. I would love Tina anytime home tea coffee, anytime 3 a.m. here. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Yes, all good. Okay, good, good. Yes, it's okay, making sense. Brilliant. Okay, so then this is a machine learning pipeline. I'm talking in the context of Azure. You can use, so you first bring the data and you model the data. And then how do you bring the model, how you bring the data from multiple, so you have a data that you need to model, which could be enterprise data, third party data coming from services like Data Factory, which is an Azure tool. It is coming from Stream Analytics, and then bring into storage, which is maybe a data lake, Synapse, SQL databases. Okay, these are different stores, and it could be another part as well. And then that is where you have the training and model, which is AI. That is where machine learning is coming to picture, and building and deploying. And then once this is done, it's being deployed on different solutions, depending on, it could be virtual machines, other places. This is analytic workload, and then your front end being represented and displayed to you by different services. This is whole model. Now, if I go with whole machine learning model training, what do? You first begin and train and evaluate the model. Once model is being done and evaluated by, someone will come and put into a model registry. Means like model is stored somewhere, so I know it's kind of a tracking. Think of it as like your register you maintain, and you say, okay, fine, there are 3 things I've checked in. Then you have something called as editor, which is where you can create a script to deploy them, ready to deploy. Then there's something come on. How many of you guys know already containers and Kubernetes? Put in the chat window containers and Kubernetes. So containers and Kubernetes. I think it's going overboard right now, but I think because I've made a promise, yes, some guys know, some guys don't know. Yes, yes. Okay. So Docker, yes, Docker and containers. A lot of guys know. No, that's fine. Hema, you don't know. That's fine. So you'll be learning containers and Kubernetes as well. I'm going now way advanced things, way advanced, which will set you apart from anyone. Correct containers, Mark. Containers, ECS, EKS, something similar in Azure is AKS and EKS. So you go deeper, something no one can touch you, something will help you in $200,000, $300,000 job. Okay, so you do deploy in a containers and Kubernetes. Then you deploy on a cloud. It could be AWS, Azure, Google, Oracle, any cloud. It doesn't matter. It's cloud native. And then you monitor using monitoring tools like Azure Monitor or Prometheus or Grafana and tools like those as well. You can do all those things as well, and then monitoring performance as well. So this is on a high level of monitoring. Now, DP 100 is a certification where you go and learn all these things. Again, I don't want to focus more on just on certification. I focus on hands-on lab. I focus on learning. I focus on making sure you learn and knows. Certification will happen automatically. Certification is a byproduct of that. So you do is again a lot of extensive hands-on labs. Because of time, I'm not going, but the promise is you should be doing, learning, implementing, and you should confidently go and implement those things. That's the important point is about. So as I said, I went very, very fast. I'm going to cover a few things as well. Now, between how do you rate me on, I know it's a very short, but if you rate me as well, I would love to. And if you rate below 5, let me know. But between 1 to 5, and I'm going to take 1, and then I'll tell you the path as well. 10 out of 5, is it 5 or okay? Like I don't know. No, thank you. 5, 5. Okay, brilliant. And again, as I said, we both have a different teaching style. I'm not a good teacher. What I'm good at is making sure you getting a result, making sure you get a job, making sure that you get results as well. AI 102 will be talking about as well. 102 module 1 and 2. I'm going to show it to you, Gayatri, as well. But 4.5, that's fine, Oleni. That's totally fine. Let me know what I could have done to make it 5-star as well. For me, I have one core value, what we can do. I said I'm going fast because of time. Thank you very much, Tina. Okay, so let me show it to you 102. Again, focus is not on just certification. Focus is making sure that you're getting a result. That's the more important point. So you begin with getting started with the AI service where you learn all the services. Then we do with computer vision. We go with language processing. We go with implementing knowledge mining. This is very, very key. Going for AI documentation. And this is again just one module, generative GI. What I've done is because so much demand, I've taken this whole and built a program itself, very, very deep generative AI that you'll be getting as part of this as well. Okay. So this is on a high level. Thank you, Tina. Thanks very much. As I said, I put in my heart and soul. For me, this is a passion project. Okay. I'm going to go again. We'll talk about certification, very high level. If you look at the certification, this is overall certification. Okay. Left hand side you see is more about infrastructure related, something that will make you a developer, DevOps, architect, solution architect, security. These are the certifications. Middle one that you see are data fundamental, data engineer, data architect, those database administrator, and then right inside is the AI and machine learning that you see, AI 900 fundamentals, AI engineer, and DP 100. Now these dotted means you can go directly. None of them is you can appear any certification anytime as well. You don't need to. Only exception is 305, which is solution architect, and 400, which is DevOps. We cover all of them in different programs. I'm going to focus on this part here today. So from AI and machine learning, focus on AI engineer, focus on data scientist. You can do fundamental as well, but again, with fundamental, getting a job is not like difficult. You have to have this one in my view. Okay, again, you for job you don't even need a certification. For job, what you need is a hands-on. Again, important for as well. So very high level. I'm not going to go. I'm saying I'm going to skip this part, which is very easy. We can find out there are 6 modules as she covered earlier, 102. These everything we're going to go in detail. You will be learning deeper into these things. Data scientist, DP. There are main 4 categories: designing and preparing a machine learning solution, exploring and training the data, preparing the model, and then actually deploying and retaining the data models. So all those 6 modules that you see are going to be covered in depth. Again, a lot of guys come, how long it will take me? What is the duration? What is the time? And I always say it's all as long as you get result. In our view, 3 to 4 months are more than enough. Some people have done it in 1 month. Some people have done 2 months. Some people have taken 3 months, 4 months. Main objective is, can you get a result? And whatever it takes for you to get a result, and result is maybe a job, maybe a certification, maybe both of them, or maybe you're working on a project. Am I making sense, guys? With that, let's look at, and the next part is, how do you work with us? There are 3 options. I'm going to go high level, job oriented, which I'm going to go deeper, which very depth. But some guys say, oh, I'm not interested in job. I'm only wanting certification, just how to show off. That's totally fine with us. We'll explain you. But then, hey, I'm not ready right now. I want to go job oriented, but I want to begin small. I can't afford, because I said our programs are way more than the value that we provide, and you will get 10 times of investment what you're doing. But then not everyone is ready. People want to try it. That's totally fine. You begin with, I want to focus on generative AI. That's totally fine. But we sold out. We opened it for a couple of days. We sold out within 2 days, within like probably 48 hours. So I'll explain you those as well, 3 options as well. But before that, I want to go on a 3-step framework, because everything that you see in a job-oriented program, it's built using 3-step framework. And that's where I want to go. Even if one thing you take away is use that 3-step framework. Either you work with us or you do on your own, but make sure you follow this. Are you ready? Put in the chat window and say 3-step. Are you ready? Put in the chat window and say 3 steps. I'm going to wait and then say 3 steps. Good. Thanks, Shri Prashad. Thank you. Thank you very much. Tina, Vesh. Okay, brilliant. Okay. And this is a key takeaway, guys. This is important. A lot of guys skip or don't do correctly. Either they skip or have a lot of doubts and questions. So bring those questions and doubts as well. As I said, step 1 is you have to master it. There's no compromise. There's no shortcuts. People say, oh, just do this certification, I'll get a job. No. Period. It's all BS. My view is become expert. How to make expert quickly? That's my guarantee. To become an expert in that particular topic, and not expert by just reading it, but actually implementing it, doing the hands-on lab, doing the project work, the way you in real world. So when you go to the interviewer doesn't care whether you've done the certification or not. It's good, looks good on paper. What that cares is, can this person deliver me? If I assign something, will he be able to do it or not? And they will grill you on things. And if you've done the hands-on lab, if you've done the project work, you'll get a. Recently, there is a. If you go to our YouTube reviews, which I'll probably not time for right now, but tons and tons of guys, people crave for this hands-on lab. Come from project, come from actual implementation. Because if you've done it, you don't need to remember anything. You have to just explain or talk, and you'll be confident once you do those things. That's number 1. With that, parallelly, mistake people do is they leave it for last minute. Like those who are coming from a development background, they know testing, they leave it last minute, and that becomes a problem. Similarly, I don't want you to resume or LinkedIn, don't leave it last minute. Begin with day 1. And that's why you start preparing your LinkedIn as well as resume, which I'll talk in a minute, why you should be starting a little bit early, even before you're ready to apply for the jobs. So it's very important. LinkedIn is very key and perfect. Then the most important part, in my view, once you've done all this, doing mock interviews, very important, key on mock interviews. Any questions on that? I'm going to go deeper, but any questions on that, and any reservations, any concerns? So why should I do this, or not on that, because that's what my objective is. Am I making sense? Type yes in the chat window. Am I making sense? Type yes and say yes, making sense. Yes, great. Divya, thanks. Shupesha, thank everyone. Brilliant. So key points again, as I said, I'll repeat. So first is make sure that you learn generative AI. That's hot. If you have just a generative AI alone, and if you do other things with just generative AI, and you look at few other things like preparing resume, LinkedIn, and do 1 or 2 projects, you're good. So again, as I said, is learn end-to-end generative AI. We'll cover that. But in fact, I do so hands-on, excessive hands-on. We go above and beyond what Microsoft tells you to do, because Microsoft material is very small, and if you go with that generative AI on in the market, it will be difficult. I will be transparent, and that's why we say go deeper into very extensive hands-on labs. And I've included LangChain because when we were helping our clients, they realized, or in fact, I was doing, they were expecting these things, so we included. Then again, I'm not bothered even AI 900 because it's easy peasy if you follow this what I'm talking, but it's good to do those labs, because that's when you will understand. So that's why even 900 we cover a lot of extensive hands-on labs. Okay, but then you can directly also go much deeper into these AI 102 hands-on labs. Hands-on labs are key and important for me on key. And then once you've done AI itself, AI 102 and generative AI, and with these two knowledge itself, you can get a job, no doubt about it. But I don't want to leave anything unturned. And some people say, oh, machine learning, we go deeper into machine learning. I will do machine learning as well, where you learn end to end. So you are pretty one package, you have everything included in that. So when you're competing with someone who knows just AI versus someone who knows AI and ML, who will they hire? Let me put in the chat window. Someone they are with the both or single skill. Someone their companies are hiring someone, they got one person with just AI and another person with AI and ML. Which one will they hire? Both. Absolutely. Again, I'm not saying that if you can't get a job just with alone AI, you will get a job in AI, but you will have a better prospect as well. Absolutely, you're right. They want more. Absolutely, Amit. Okay, and how? And if you're getting it, we'll be covering that as well. Absolutely, absolutely, yep, absolutely. Higher salaries as well. So as I said, don't get overwhelmed. And don't feel, oh, I have to do 80 laps. We're going to make it so simple and easy. You'll be performing. There'll be step-by-step videos, step-by-step guide, and everything will be there to help and support. Again, second thing is you don't need to do all of them. As I said, always say begin with small, begin with early, and prepare. That will go deeper into those. But if you finish all that, you can't get a job. I can guarantee you that will not happen. I've not seen a single person who performed the labs and do the project work and haven't got a job. And that's why I see tons and tons of guys and results. So I'm going to go high level. You understand the basic create account and play. We will be learning from scratch one by one. You go and integrate your OpenAI into your applications. Okay, whatever application you have. Again, you don't know coding, leave that coding part. You go on something else. And if you are love coding, you come and do coding and leave other part which you may not be interested. But there's always a role available for something or other. Prompt engineering, very, very important. As I said, maybe actually using adjusting temperature and top P and top K and other things as well. How to write effective prompts, how to use few shots learning, how to use few thoughts in actually by doing labs. In advance, how do you set markers, hues, improve accuracy, and then go more about deeping is how do you create codes. In fact, if you're a developer, trust me, you'll be worried if you see the code. I can write a code, and even I can write your code. I can extend, I can convert a code. It gives me a few minutes. It can even write all the entire documentation for me, and that's what you would learn. You can write entire function, which is a function in serverless in Azure, but you can write your entire application on using this, and you'll be seeing that. In fact, I was surprised and shocked to hear that a couple of years back. Then, as I said, we just show Delhi, but again, it can even fix bugs for you, improve the code performance. If a performance tuning can do, again, Delhi will do all the graphics or all the images, everything that you need. Also, most important is people expect how you can leverage my data based on my data, and that's where these racks will come into picture as well. How do you implement your own data? Then security, responsibility, responsible content filters. How do you do all those things we are covering? This is generative AI alone. Okay. Then you go for AI 900. Again, I'm not going to go deeper into, but everything that you need to know by doing in AI 900. Same thing is AI 102. Everything that you need to do for AI engineer by actually doing those. That's why extensive hands-on lab 23 just on an AI 102 as well. Then you go for machine learning, more in creating a workspaces, experimenting, automated ML. Earlier we saw how to train the model, how do you work with designers, how do you work with a real-time inferencing service, how do you create a pipeline, how do you deploy in compute, which is could be a virtual machine or Kubernetes and so on. And then how do you do batch inferencing, hyperparameters? These are more advanced. Don't worry about it. It took me a lot of time, and some of these things I still don't know, but I work and implement as a machine learning. I can go and talk about these things. Okay, so you don't need to know all of them. Am I making sense, guys? Am I making sense? Now, additional things are long chain as well. This is something which I wanted to talk about as well. Um, as well. Okay. Uh, yes, I used some of the part for my okay, Ash is saying to older people in the early 60s got discriminated for job. Not at all, Ash. What they discriminate is if they don't have a knowledge. If your knowledge, Ash, if you have a knowledge and if you skill, companies don't care. In fact, they want more mature guys because they can leverage theirs as well. I hope that I'm making sense as well. Yes, absolutely. Yes, thank you. So okay, so a lang chain again, core component, core, like lang chain, how to do. Also, now, as I said, data is key. So because all these things when we were implementing and people are going for a job, they were asking, or they were asking about data foundation because everything works on back of data. So what have we included? I've included data for beginners on this whole thing, and including the live interactive ETL and so on. Then what we realize is Python. Again, you don't have to be a coder or programmer, but if you want to become one, or you want to know how the code is being tested, because there will be some part you can skip that part if you don't want to, but we'll teach you, at least you have a basic understanding. So when you go to the interview and the interviewers ask, hey, do you know Python? Yeah, I know and understand Python, and maybe I can work depending on what you want to do. Python again, if it's required, we're covering that as well. So everything like NumPy, Pandas, all the advanced things that you probably do again. Now also Docker and Kubernetes. So when you build AI and machine learning, Microsoft gives you space. How do you deploy? You deploy in Azure Kubernetes services. Now what we realize is if you have these additional knowledge, companies always tend to hire if you have these additional knowledges. So very handy comes into handy. So that is where, again, as I said, I'm not going to go on deeper, but very high level. Traditionally, we were building applications on a normal hardware. Then 2005, hypervisor came and the virtualization VMware came. 2013, Docker containers came. And at the same time, Kubernetes came for managing these containers. So you have something called as Kubernetes services, Azure Kubernetes service, tons and tons of job just on Azure Kubernetes. But that's not enough now. When you're doing AI and machine learning, when you say, I know about Kubernetes and how to deploy on Kubernetes, they would love you on that. So that's why we're giving a bonus for limited time again. This bonus is limited time, Azure Container Registry, Container Instance, Kubernetes, and everything that you know about building, managing Kubernetes clusters on Azure Cloud, period. This is a very, very in-depth program that you see with hands-on labs, so that you can deploy your Kubernetes cluster on here that you see Kubernetes cluster. So you understanding what's happening behind the scene, you can clear the interviews. Am I making sense, guys? Are you still with me? Put the chat window and say, are you still with me? Or am I going too fast? Yes, Vish, thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Is it making sense now when some others are getting a job, higher paid job, why they're getting and why you're not getting? Because you're missing these bits and you need to improve on that points. Some part topic of my webinar, some part of that I use at some part, not fully. I think I've mentioned. Okay, great. Okay, let's continue. So this is again end-to-end machine learning pipeline. You do all those things. You understand we're going to cover in machine learning operations. But then how do I leverage Azure DevOps for scripting my DevOps CI/CD pipeline? Continuous integration, continuous delivery or deployment. And then these workspaces. And then there's something called observability. A lot of companies expect you to know observability, which is monitoring, management, logging. And use tools like Azure Monitor, Azure Apps Insight, Log Analytics. And that's what sets you apart from others. And once you know and understand this, maybe do one certification is more than enough just to show on paper if you want to. But I can guarantee you without a certification also you can get a job as well. But we're going to cover on, and we're going to give you tons and tons of sample questions all on fundamentals, AI fundamental, Azure engineer, and data scientist. In fact, we're adding another bonus called another thing which is called as Azure fundamentals, because that will give you full overall idea. So you're not guessing anything, you're knowing, and also an explanation of why an answer is right or why other answers are wrong, so that you can never fail in certification for sure as well. And with that, you do the project work. Like for example, a use cases, maybe healthcare. So we're going to use generative AI use cases on 3 most paying industries: healthcare, telecom, and finance. And you'll be building some use cases on real world implementation. So you can say, oh, this is the proof of concept I did. Oh, this is the project I did for this company or that company. And you write and you resume as an experience. So generative AI for healthcare, synthetic data generation. So you can generate even data on for data generation being used, asked. How do I do the personalized content recommendation? You might have seen maybe LinkedIn, or you might have seen on uh, Amazon, you buy shopping, it recommends. And we are implementing a lot of those things as well. You do NLPs using chatbots, you're creating a chatbot, or maybe doing loan eligibility with someone. What are the chances of someone getting a loan based on the parameters of the user? Or what are the chances of credit card default based on machine learning techniques? So should I give a credit card or not give a credit card? And there are a lot of such use cases as well. Langchain project, image analysis project. In fact, what we recommend you is whatever project you're implementing, bring them and we can help you on those projects as well. So project is very, very important, guys. Very important point. So that's step number 1 is becoming expert. Am I making sense? Put the chat window still with me. Edo is saying, how do you make full use of this course to do? So Ash, you don't need any hardware. All you need is that you don't need any hardware, because that's the beauty. You don't need any hardware for the full course. All you need is a laptop, a machine, just a Chrome browser, or whatever browser you choose, Chrome or Internet Explorer. Everything we're going to do it on cloud, Ash. Okay. Which certification path for good, for AI, for AWS or Azure? Another question, Aldo, is I get both are good. You can pick any of them. Don't fix. Will you like Mercedes or do you like BMW? You choose. Okay. Do you like? Okay, making sense. Yes. How long does it may take to land a job in spending around 5 days? Amir, I'll come to that point. Depending on where are you right now, which country you're from, and what your background is, it can take as early as a couple of weeks. Okay, those guys, I'm going to show it to you, which I'm going to cover exactly what the problem and challenge is. I can cover as quickly as a couple of weeks to a couple of months. Okay, and there's a possibility if you don't do the work, you will never get a job as well. Okay, so it depends again, but if you know a little bit about, you can get in weeks as well. Arnold is saying it seems AI machine learning jobs pay more than cloud roles. See, again, they're growing exponentially. I do the cloud role, but add AI and machine learning. That's what I've done, Arnold. How I do is, because AI machine learning, I've added on top of that. So it's not like they don't pay good. Everything pay good, but you have to build on top of that as well. Data engineering is good as well. Huge opportunities. Amir, I think you got the point. Brilliant. So that's step number 1. Step number 2, there are 2 parts. One is resume, second is LinkedIn. And the mistake people do is resume, impressive resume, highlighting relevant skills and project. And that is important, relevant skills and project. And those of you not getting interview calls, I want you to leave me a comment on here now and tell me that I've applied for not getting a job. And I'll tell you now, pay attention as well. We'll pay special attention here, not getting interview calls or applying on not job offer. Remind me again how many of you were. And I'll say if you're still here, then I'll focus more on, otherwise I'll skip this part. Great, Mamadi. Okay, so I think pay attention onto that. Is it just 1? Is it just 2? Put in the chat window or not. We can skip this part. I'm going to do it. Okay. Me. Okay, great. Now they're coming. Okay, great. Clear. Okay, thanks. Me. Okay, so if you're not getting a job, first and most important is your resume is not ATS compliant. ATS application tracking system. A lot of these tools have now automated. Before even go to the human, it checks and says, should I give it to you or not? And that's why you need to make your resume ATS friendly. That's number 1, very, very important. Second mistake is people send the same resume. How many of you guys are sending the same resume? Put the chat window, same or different. Every job you apply, you need to send, even if it's, recently, I think I was speaking, I forgot the name of the guy. It's on YouTube. He had applied 72 jobs and 72 different resumes. I'm not saying change completely, but first page, highlight key points on especially first page, first paragraph. So when an interviewer sees, oh, this is the kind of a guy I was looking for. That's number 1. So different, great. So Hema, don't make the mistake of having the same resume. Make sure if it's different. And even if you're different, people write irrelevant things, write things that are not even relevant. Write a lot of stuff, fluff. The technical job, they're writing about project manager. Or maybe job 1, they're writing job is about Azure or cloud, AWS cloud. They're writing something they've done 10 years back on premise, which is no relevance to that. Remove all of them as well. So tailor with keyword, is ATS biased for one page resume? Not biased, as long as you have enough content enough. So enough is important. There's no small or there's not small or big. You do have. I'm not saying do one page. Do as much as you as is required to ATS compliant. In fact, we're going to help you with that resume building part as well. So don't write resume. In fact, I do a lot of resume reviews, and people write a lot of things which are not even relevant or waste of time, and I'll reject immediately if I see that. Okay, so that's what exactly we saw. I was talking about Joby. He was US, moved to Australia, and within Australia also Southern Australia, very remote job. And he was telling the same story. He was like you. Couple of months back, he came and can't not apply. Oh, there's not enough jobs, and there's not enough interviews. I say as long as you have one job, you should get that job, and as long as there's a one job in the country, then you're good. And said I started getting so prepared on resume as well as interviews with the right attitude. That's important key. And I started getting back-to-back interviews, resulting job offer within 2 weeks. That's the beauty. That's a part that can make you different as well. Okay. Now another one is that resume preparation. We help you with all the resumes. We'll give you the sample resumes. The resumes. We tell you what mistakes you might be doing. In fact, we have a whole thing. You'll get all those things as well. I've done a lot of work onto that, and my primary focus is on these programs are we'll bring experts on teaching like Varsha. We have tons and tons of experts. They're going to go and bring. My objective is if you're stuck, how do you unstuck it? Because I've done it number of times. Every 6 months I change my job because I enjoy first of all the challenging work, but I do experiment. Can I get a job and better than previous ones? So everything you're going to learn as well. Then you're going to make, and LinkedIn is very, very important. So your resume might be good. I'm going for the interview. I want to select this person for interview. I go to LinkedIn. There's nothing about that skill. LinkedIn is crap, and that's why I'm not going to. I'll reject you, or might hire you, come for an interview, but I've already made up my mind. This guy doesn't look. He's not even updating the LinkedIn. How many of guys are not updating the LinkedIn? Shriprasad, Varsha is going to cover some part again. As I said, is we're going to bring experts. So Varsha will be covering some her part as well. So I'm going to, because it's a very comprehensive program, and I'm going to bring experts on all of them. Everyone is vouches and expert, and my guarantee, my face on the lake. For me, I believe in result. Okay, so. Devashish, thank you very much for reminding. Yes, Devashish, my guys. Oh no, thank you very much. Yeah, you were in the class. Devashish, absolutely updated. Okay, but updated with key points in terms of, is it matching? Is it, if I go and look at the resume, is it at least have a relevant things as well? So the key points are, there are few particular points, headline, but experience, skills and endorsement. How do you get for endorsements? How do you get recommendations? How do you show a project work? This is very, very important key. And again, we give you a dedicated module teaching about this, and I tell you about this. Michael said, "Oh, we gave it inside the program. We do it, and people start seeing Michael from UK did my so I did my homework, updated my LinkedIn profile, and as soon as I did it, I got tons of emails for job prospects. So if you're not getting LinkedIn requests and LinkedIn things, you're not either posting the content which is good and important, or you're not doing it correctly, or your LinkedIn doesn't look good. You should be getting, especially AI, machine learning, cloud. If you're working on cloud, if you're working on data, if you're working on AI, if you're working on machine learning, you should be getting left, right, center recruiters reaching you, because there's a lot of scarcity, a lot of gap in the market for good guys as well. And the final and third part is practice mock interviews. In fact, that's why we start mock interviews even before you're ready. We bring everyone in the group, we put a hot seat, you're sitting and preparing for the interview, and others are on those interviews, sitting on the panel, and you're seeing them. There are other guys at your level and these interviews are based on the job description, real job descriptions as well. So you'll be having a different techniques in terms of scenario-based questions, technical questions, troubleshooting, background, implementation, experiences. All those things will be covered and asked. So in fact, we bring different, as I said, industry experts who are actually implementing these things, who are taking interviews, who are giving interviews at different levels. So you can understand. That's why someone's asking about who's going to be trainer. We'll have multiple trainers, multiple experiences, because one trainer is not all enough, because so huge, so big. So bring every expert in their own domains. They come and teach on their skills as well. Am I making sense, guys? So mock interview is very, very important as well. And this is what happens. is Atisha, is from my team. I wanted to thank you for last mock-up interviews. I passed my technical interview, waiting for the final ones as well. Imagine you're struggling for interviews, you got interview calls, and you cleared multiple rounds. Am I making sense as how it will make you feel? I'll make it feel as well. Put in the chat window, are you still with me? Put in the chat window, are you still with me? Am I making sense? Should we continue? Should we go further down? There are a few tips under my belt as well. Mistake. Thank you very much, or not. Thanks, Mamadi. Thanks, Kiran. Thank you, everyone, guys. Lots of still here makes total sense. Brilliant, Mark. Thank you. Okay. Okay, brilliant. Continue. Brilliant. Okay. So then again, another one. Pradeep, create my first round of Director of Engineering. And we'd like to proceed with the next round. And again, keep coming back to us for interview preparation mock. And that is a guarantee of success. That's 100% guaranteed if you follow this 3-step framework. And again, start early, both for mock interviews and especially a lot of guys I can see in